Hi, for today we will be making some pads. I will be using the Happy Hippos Curvy Classic. It comes in a variety of sizes. I love this pattern because it's so easy to overlock or serge in American terms. So yeah, and serging is so much faster than doing it turned and top stitch. You can turn and top stitch the pattern, but I just prefer to serge it. Okay, first of all, we have 4 kids, so it might get a bit noisy or you might see them popping up somewhere. So yeah, just excuse the interruptions. Okay, so first of all, you can get the Happy Hippos pattern on Etsy. I just love Becky's patterns. It's so easy to use, and especially the Curvy Classic. I like the fit, I like how it sits, so yeah, it's amazing. And then this is for the this is the pad itself, and this is for the core. So for the let me just get this here. I like to use a cotton for the topper. The reason I prefer a cotton is I think it's better to use a natural fabric. Because since I'm moving away from disposable plasticky anything, I just go for cotton. There's certain synthetic fibers you can use for a topper, but I prefer cotton. So this is a cotton fleece. I will be making a few colors in them. So yeah, there's a turquoise, a purple, aqua blue, and some black. And then for my backing, I like to use soft shell. So this is a waterproof soft shell. So basically the one side is quite slippery, and then there's a fleece side, and then in between the layers there's a PUL that makes it waterproof. So when I put it on, I prefer to use the fleece side on the outer against your underwear, because it helps that it makes it non-slip. So soft shell, amazing. And then for my core, I just use a cotton fleece. I love cotton fleece. In South Africa, we don't get a lot of we don't get many types of a wide variety of fabrics. So cotton fleece, cotton gets manufactured here, so it's less expensive than hemp and bamboo. You can use hemp and bamboo. We do have hemp and bamboo that's imported, but yeah, cotton fleece is less expensive. So the great thing about making pads is I always, because I make nappies as well, I always have these pieces left that I can't really use, and they are just amazing to use for the core. So you can, it's great for scrap busting and things like that. So, and then that's the fabric side of things. Okay, and the pattern, of course. I usually just buy small envelopes just to keep my patterns organized. And you'll need some pins. This clips, I like this clips. And then some weights for your pattern to keep it down, scissors, and an erasable marker or washable marker just to mark. If you're going to mark on black, you can either use sewing chalk or just a piece of small piece of soap, dry soap. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Let's do this. Okay, so we will start with the topper. I will be making some heavy and regular pads. For my heavy, I like to use a 12-inch, and for my 12-inch heavy pad, I use 3 layers of cotton fleece in my core, and then I also have my cotton fleece as a topper. So my cotton fleece is a 280 GSM, and I just find that absorbency works great. Then I can use my heavy pad as an overnight pad. And I will also, and then for my regular pad, I used a 10-inch, and I have my topper, cotton fleece topper, and then I add 2 layers of core in the middle. If I do make lights and if I do make light pads, I use the 8-inch, and for my liners I use a 6-inch. I usually add then 1 layer of cotton fleece for my liners or my lights, with the cotton fleece as an outer. If I did use another type of fabric for my outer, like a cotton lycra or something that's not really absorbent, then I will maybe add into my layers. Okay, so let's start. Because you will be serging, you will be cutting on the line, serging on the line. So I usually just put my pad and leave about half an inch or about a centimeter to cut off with my serger. So just make sure you leave enough space around. And the idea is to get the most out of your fabric, so I'll just eyeball about 1 centimeter, half an inch or so space for both of them. I'll be making 2 blue turquoise regulars, so here. Now you can also use a roller cutter and a mat. My blades are a bit dull on my roller cutter, so I will just using my scissors for today. And I actually love scissors, I prefer scissors. So when you cut, just leave that bit of seam allowance that you will be cutting off with your serger. The same applies if you will be turning and top stitching. You will also be leaving, because this fabric doesn't come with a seam allowance. The pattern doesn't come with a seam allowance, so you'll basically be doing the same. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, if you want to turn and top stitch, you will mark on the back side of your fabric, so you can sew on the line opposites together and then turn it out. But for today we'll be serging, so I might do a tutorial for the turn and top stitch one day, TNT, okay? But if you do have a serger, really try and serge Overlock. So much faster. So there we have 2 blue. Okay, so I will now go on and do the other colors. So let's do some purple. done with the toppers of the pads or cotton fleece cuts in different colors. I will now be doing the core that I will just be doing in a plain white cotton fleece. So I won't be needing this anymore. Okay, just want to make some work space. Just quickly see here. So my fabric is tubular, so it's already in it's already 2 layers, so I'll just leave it in 2 layers just to half the time for cutting them, and then I basically just work out how many core layers I will need. So I basically have 4, 6, 16 regular, so 16 times, so it will be 32 core, and then for my heavy I have 2, 4, 6, so it will be 18. So I'll be needing 18, so I'll be making 32 regular core and 18 heavy, but because it's double layered, I'll only be drawing half of them. Due to the fact that I'll be making hidden core, so I won't need to leave a seam allowance, so I can basically stack them next to each other because I will be cutting on the line. But I'll show you that when we start sewing them together, it will make more sense. Now we just draw loads of them onto the fabric. You can get quite a lot on a piece of fabric. This is the 12-inch core that I'm drawing, tracing. This will go a lot faster if you only make like one pad at a time, but I like to just make loads of them one time. They are so easy to make, they go so fast, so it actually takes less time to make a lot than to make one. Oh. because they will be hidden, you can actually just use a normal pen or pencil even to draw them. I'm just using the red because it will probably be easier to see on the camera. And I just buy in the props section, in the kiddies section, washable markers. They are usually a bit cheaper than your fabric markers. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 2, we have 18, so that will be all for the heavy core. And then I will be doing our regular. So now we will start cutting them. I will just cut the larger piece of fabric off, make it cutting easier. Of course, again, you can do this with your roller cutter. Start cutting them. Okay, so there's my useless scraps. I have a big box in my sewing room. I keep all my scraps there for a stuffing project some other time. And because the fabric was double layered, there's this piece, and I will be able to get a few more cores out of them because I need just a little bit more. So I'll be using my scrap piece to make some, just to make a few more cores. Okay, so now that we have our toppers and we have our cores, I will just take these apart, and then what I'll do is let me just separate these 10-inch, 12-inch and 10-inch. So I have one topper, which you can see. Let me get another color that's more, get the blue. Okay, so one topper. Because this is cotton fleece, it's already absorbent, so it counts as one layer. And then I take two core layers, then I center it on my core, and I just take some pins, then I just pin it together. And basically what I will be doing is I will just stitch a line all around my core so that it stays on top of my topper. I like to use the three-step zigzag stitch on the highest setting. It gives a nice pretty finish on the top side, but you can use a straight stitch or any stitch. I will be quickly just pinning all of them together, and then we will be moving over to the sewing machine. So I finished pinning all the 10-inch. I still have a few extra pieces of core. I will just put this away for another time that I have to make some more pads. I will now do the 12-inch or the heavy pad. Basically this is also because this is cotton fleece, it's one layer absorbent fabric, and then I like to put another 3 layers in my core to make it 4 layers, and this way it makes a great overnight pad. You can even use I think the Kirby Classic has a 14 and maybe even a 16-inch as well. If you need an even longer pad, I find the 12-inch works great for me. So but because it's not 4 absorbent layers, it works amazing. And the great thing is 3 of the layers is in the core, only 1 layer is as the topper. So when you put on your backer, your back side, then you only serge 2 layers, so you don't have to serge through all of those layers on a serger. So I'm quickly going to finish pinning the 12-inch. Okay, so I'm done pinning the cores to the toppers, and we will be moving over to the sewing machine to sew them together. Okay, so we're back. We will now be sewing the core to the topper fabric, but before we start sewing, I need to adjust my settings. So I will be using the 3-step zigzag because the stitch will be showing on the top side. So I want something more pretty. So you can use a straight stitch, but I prefer the 3-step zigzag. So I just put my machine on the C. I want to use it on the longest stitch length, and I just want my my needle to be in the middle. Okay, so I already threaded my machine, so I'm ready to start. Okay, so I will not be back stitching. Just gonna lower my needle. I'm using the edge of my foot with the edge of the core, and then so I just want to get the petal right here. Petal. Okay, and then I just can start going around. First, go slow around the rounding, the curves. Move my pins as I go. When I get to my starting point, I just start going slow. I even sometimes just use my hand wheel, then because I want to see where it goes, so that I can actually finish the two edges nice and neatly together. And I will just go back to a straight stitch, and I will just stop where I started, move my needle, move my fabric, and then just go over my stitches nice and slow. And I get to a nice long piece, I will just go 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. So, okay, now done. Then I will just snip my stitches, snip my thread on both sides. Okay, and now, as you can see, I stitched my cord to my topper, and it looks nice and neat. So it gives a nice pretty feeling, and as you can see, you can hardly see where I started and finished. Okay, so I will now go on with the rest of the pads. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, just make sure if you finish the way I did it, just make sure you go back to your 3-step stitch. There's other ways to finish as well. I just find that the quickest and best way for me to finish my 3 steps exact. Okay, so let's do a few more. Oh yes, and I forgot to say that the best is to use a corresponding thread to your fabric, so that you only see the pattern, but you don't really see the thread stand out that much. Okay, so I will be changing my thread now to the next color. Oh, and I'm using a ball point needle. I'm using a bit thicker one. I think this is a 90 or a 80. I just find with the cotton fleece you still want to use a bolt point because there's a bit of stretch, but so you rather use a bit thicker needle. I've used universal ones as well in the past. I just find the ball point jersey stretch needles better for me. Okay, so we've finished sewing the core to the topper. We've done it with a zigzag stitch. We will now be adding the backer. Because we will be serging, we will be putting the wrong sides together, and they will, and then we can just serge them. If you would have done a turn and top stitch, you want to do right sides together so that you can turn it inside out. I prefer to use my fleecy side of my soft shell on the outside, and then I put the slippery side on the inside. So basically I will now just put this over here. And you want to find your stretch so that the stretch go from left to right. And you can also use a blizzard fleece or something, but it won't be waterproof, it will only be water resistant. But because it's pads, you can basically use what you have in your sewing room, any type of cotton or any type of absorbent fabric in your core. You can use a fleece, soft shell, PUL. If you do use PUL, rather make it hidden PUL, so put something else on the back of the PUL. PUL is very slippery, but yeah, I just prefer soft shell. So let me because I have done a few pads, I will be just laying them out on my fabric to see to get the most out of my piece of soft shell. So so I don't pin them yet. If I want to change the position, something like this. Just put the okay, all the same sizes together. Actually put two larger ones over there to use the full piece of fabric that side. I basically just play around to get the most out of my fabric. Something like this. So now, okay, now I'll take my pins. Okay, now I'll take my pins and I will just put about 4 pins into each pad. You want to pin in your seam allowance because you will be cutting off the seam allowance in any way. But you should you should rather not pin on the inside of your pad because there's waterproof fabric on the inside. You don't want to damage it and then cause leaks. With fleece, it won't be a problem, but soft shell has a hidden layer of waterproof fabric sandwiched in between, so I just play it safe. Okay, so I'll just go on and pin all of the pads, and then we will move on to cutting. So now we will cut them. Because you already have a seam allowance on your topper, just follow the line and just cut around it. Because I do it this way because if you're going to serge, and because the pattern doesn't come with the seam allowance, I find that if I just cut around eyeballing the seam allowance, then if I cut my topper and my backer separate, then they don't line up. This way they line up, so I can just serge them, and they're already pinned together, so it's one step less for me to do afterwards. And I'll just cut them all. Okay, so I've cut all my backing for all my pads, and they have some pins in, but to make just if you just want to secure them extra, you can just put a clip on them just to be safe that your backer and your topper doesn't move away from each other. So I usually just do this. Okay, so I will be using my industrial serger, my jack. Let me just open that actually so you can see. Just move the camera. Okay, so for serging, I prefer to start on like a curve area, so I basically move into it. So where your line is basically where you will it's where you will put it at your knife and cut it there. It will be better to just show you guys. Just see here. So aim your knife at the line that you have drawn. So usually I will start a bit away. So just get that out of the way. So then I'll just start slowly, and now my knife, let me see if I can get the camera a bit closer. Okay, sorry. Okay, so my knife is at my line, so I will now cut all around until I get back at my line. Let's just put this back here. Okay, so let's start. Okay, if you're going around your curve, you want to push it out, basically like this. A serger is made to basically cut straight, so you always want to try and make a straight line. So go slow, just keep moving slowly. Now we are getting to a curve that goes in. So now I want to just straighten it up almost. Take out my clip. Just position it, reposition it every time. Just manipulate your fabric to basically make a straight line. Okay, here's an inner curve. They are usually more difficult than the ones that go out. So, and you're pushing your fabric into your knife. And make certain you are cutting both the backer and the topper. Otherwise, you won't have a secure stitch. Okay, now I'm getting again to my place where I started. This here, as you can see. Now I will just gently go into my curve. I even sometimes just pick up my foot a little bit, move it slowly, and then just go over the pieces. Try to not cut off your thread. Okay, then I just take it out, put it out of the way, and finish my seam. It's here. Okay, I will have to cut that with both hands. Okay, so this is basically now your tail. Okay, how I like to end off my overlocking thread, serger thread, is I usually take the back the back looper. In my case it's not black, so it's easy to see. Then I just pull it nice and straight, and then I take my front looper and I pull it again, and as I pull it, you'll see the thread basically makes almost like a knot on itself, and then I just cut it quite closely. Then I will take firelighter, and then just because I'm using polyester thread, this won't work with cotton thread, just melt it a little bit, push it in, and it's secure. So yeah, there's the first pad. So okay, let me just position this again over here. Okay, let me do another one for you to see. So again, oh sorry, okay, so okay, first aim your put it in your pad in, aim your knife to your line, to your serging line, and move in slowly. When you hit the line, move around the corner. Remember to push in, go around, and now we basically want to fold the fabric to make a straight line. There we go. Take it around the curve. Okay, we are getting to the end again. Go slowly into your already sewn piece. Lift up your foot. Put it down again. Sew a few stitches. Got it. Okay, now we take our thread. Oh, good. Okay. So I just pull to make a nice knot. Get the front looper, pull it together, cut, melt your polyester thread. There you go. You can finish your pad, your overlocking thread, serger thread, any way you prefer. This is just for me the easiest way. I prefer doing this way. Okay, so I will now start doing the rest of the pads. Okay, thanks. Okay, so I'm done with serging or overlocking the pads. We will now do the snaps. For the snaps, you can either use a snap brace. Snap brace comes with the dies that you need to change for your studs or sockets, or you can use the snap pliers. They don't have dies, so they don't change. And then you will need an awl, a hole poker to poke holes into your fabric. And per pad you will need 3 caps, 2 studs, 1 socket. Okay, let's see here. For marking, there's 2 ways you can do it. The one way is you can on your pattern you will see there is places for your snaps. You can just add holes in there and then just mark on there. See, I've added some marks there for 1 socket on the one side, 2 studs on the other side, or you can just close it and then just poke your holes where you need them from the back side. So okay, you will basically use your awl and then just poke the holes through the fabric. Once you've done that, you can take a cap and then for this one you put it from the front to the back so that it comes out on the other side, and then you just add your sockets on that side, and for the other 2 you poke them from the back to the front, and then just add your studs. Basically it will then look like this, meaning that you can close them like this. So yeah, so that is how to do the Curvy Classic Happy Pose serge pad. I hope you enjoyed the video, and click the subscribe button or follow us. There will be links for other social media links for our other social media platforms where you can also follow more of me, my family, and what I do. Thanks a lot. Bye.